jump on a party like Chris Farley.
What's up, everybody? It's Pat Voss. It's Aces Reaper on the PSN, guys. Everybody knows me with my other gaming channel there, the FKD RNG Gaming. But today, we are back here for another JCT official interview. Just chill truth all the time, guys. My truth, my true opinions. But today, I'm actually interviewing and joined by a special guest out of Dublin, Ireland. He fights out of Warrior MMA and K1 Gym out of Dublin. It's Ross Edmonds. How you doing, Ross?
How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. I'm so glad that you actually took this interview. I'm glad that you did it before the fight of Mayweather McGregor on the 26th. Everybody knows that Mayweather McGregor is happening August 26th, 2017 in Vegas. Of course, now they're petitioning, just a quick little thing, now they're petitioning for 8-ounce gloves as well as an international ref to be or an international judge to be judging the fight. So a few things there, but I wanted to get in for Ross. Anybody out there in JCT land and a lot of sports broadcasting land that don't know you, who are you?
Well, my name's Ross Edmonds. I grew up in Dublin. I got into MMA as just a young kid. I watched the Rocky movies with my dad, and you know, I just started from there, and I just wanted to try it out long before there was a Conor McGregor on the scene. And you know, I tried it out and I loved it, and I've been doing it ever since. And then when Conor first burst out on the scene, when he knocked out Marcus Brimage, you know, really caught everyone's attention. So, yeah, I've been looking up to him ever since then, and then being around him, and, you know, it's just been a great experience.
You don't understand that anybody that watches any kind of combat sports, whether it's boxing, mixed martial arts, whatever it is, you don't understand how jealous people like myself and them get when you've been standing toe to toe with McGregor. I've seen you in pictures. If you go check him out too, by the way, Ross Edmonds, he's over on Twitter as well. Go check him out on Twitter because he has some great pictures, some great updates for you guys. And with one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, actually, first off, since you're a youngin, as we like to say here in the Midwest, an aspiring fighter, you're trying to go pro. What is there was a message, something you wanted to tell your fans, of people that know that you fight amateur MMA out of Dublin, Ireland. What is the message you want to convey to people?
Yeah, well, I've been out for a while with a neck injury, and today I got told that I can return back to training on Saturday morning, and there will be a fight following up to that very, very soon.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, as far as your future with Warrior MMA and K1 Gym, what do you see your future being? Do you see yourself possibly coming to the States, like stateside, or do you think maybe you'll try to pursue a pro career, maybe a little bit like Conor McGregor did, where he stayed in Ireland at first and then came stateside?
Yeah, I'd love to do the way Conor done it. You know, my team is here, the people I know is here, but at the same time, you know, I'd love to travel from different gyms, really anywhere. With strength conditioning, when we train, it's never in the one gym. I travel to different gyms. I take pictures of where we're training, and then I always post them, you know, because they're always unique gyms. So if I ever got the chance to have a few training sessions over in the States, you know, I'd love that, yeah.
Yeah, because we have over here, there was another amateur fighter that I was talking to around my age, though, around his late 20s. His name's Matt the Axe Brax. He trains out of Chicago, Illinois in the States. He trains out of a Midwest Training Center. And so he is, you know, trying to do just like you're doing. You guys are both trying to, you know, make it up, get those fights, overcome injuries, overcome, you know, adversity in that way. And that's something I think is very admirable of you, is that as you're growing up, as you're watching the Rocky movies, as you're, looking up to guys like Conor McGregor in your home country, that to me is very awesome, because it shows that you're going to not let anything get in your way, whether it be injury or any kind of adversity. You're willing to get through all of that to get where you want to go, because you know what your final stop is going to be.
Yeah.
Now, with fighting out of Warrior MMA and K1 gym. What is your experience there? What what's the feel? And what I mean by what's the feel is it a family? Is it a family? Atmosphere? Is it a tight knit family group there, or is it kind of every man for themselves? Although with your trainers or your managers.
It's a very family type group. My first session there, everyone just talked to you like we already knew each other. And, we always asked, like when a new guy comes in, we always ask, have you done this before? Is it your first time? And then the conversation rolls from there. And, we always have to partner up in the training sessions, every training session. So that's how you get to know everyone very fast.
I like that. I like that it is a family atmosphere, because with a lot of things that I've done in even broadcasting, at first people tell you all the time, just like for fighting, people tell you all the time, well, it's a dog eat dog world out there. It's a bunch of sharks in the water, and you need to learn how to survive. And in a way, if you're fighting and you have fights, amateur or pro or otherwise, if you have fights, I would think once you get in the octagon, yes, that is true. It is still listening to your coach and hearing the coaching going through your head as you're taking step by step through the rounds. But same thing with broadcasting is if you find the right family, though, like it seems like you have, and the right coaching and training staff, that can be the closest knit family you'll ever have. I mean, outside of your own. One more thing I wanted to talk about, or a couple more things actually. The tapes came out. This is something I wanted to talk about. Well, actually, no. First, what is the exact future you see for Ross Edmonds? What is Ross Edmonds' future, and how quickly do you expect that kind of thing to happen, whatever your future holds?
Well, I think I'll be going pro within the next year and a half, and from then, there's a European show called BAMA. And a lot of the Irish guys.
I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off. It skipped here on Zoom. So what did you say? It's a European show called what?
There's a European show called BAMA. That's the British Association of Mixed Martial Arts. A lot of the Irish guys get on there straight after they get pro, and they're playing in big arenas now around Europe. So I'd love to be a part of that association and work my way up, and if I get to the UFC, then I'll get to the UFC.
That's beautiful. I like that. I like that you have a plan step by step of where you're going. Another thing I wanted to bring up now, this is the thing. Now we're starting to shift a little bit from Ross Edmonds to the Mayweather-McGregor fight, okay? The Paulie Malignaggi tapes, that came out. I made a video about this. I didn't mean to get so, pissed off at Paulie in the video, but I made a video of it, and it was explaining why I thought Paulie was running from the truth, and then finally those tapes came out, and we saw the knockdown, or what appeared to be a full knockdown from Conor to Paulie. What do you think Paulie Malignaggi's true mindset was behind that, and complaining about putting the tapes out, and now that they're out, now he's coming at Dana White? What do you think from a fighter's point of view, what do you think that true motivation would have been possibly?
Well, when the first picture leaked out of him lying on the canvas, of course he's going to be worried that people are going to be saying stuff, especially when you're in the spotlight like that. But then, when he was going mad on Twitter after the picture, trying to defend himself against all the fans and stuff. And, maybe he could have done well there, but then Dana White, he released 2 tapes, and, he just kind of got caught out in the act there. And he's still trying to defend himself with a lie. He's trying to lie himself out of it, but I don't think it's going to work. And the tapes prove that. Right.
And there is something I said in the video, and I don't know, I'm sure you'll probably, by the way, what you just said, you'll probably agree with this, but in my last video I had said about it's called Paulie Malignaggi snitches on Conor McGregor. That's what the video is. And what it entails in there is something I say of he keeps talking smack about it. He gets caught, and it's not about him. It's not about Paulie. This is a sparring partner. This is a training partner. This is someone that is not going to be stepping into the ring with Floyd Mayweather come August 26th. It has nothing to do with him. Yet I think as a professional, or an ex-professional boxer, I think it hurts his pride a little bit more than anything that he is not the focus of a boxing match come August. And I think that really hurts him mentally. And the fact that this now 29-year-old Conor McGregor steps in the ring, never been a professional boxer a day in his life. Now, he is a striker. But as far as making boxing, and that's something I think a lot of the ESPN analysts and people, I think they get it wrong. And I've said that too. And I said that's the reason why they won't let me on ESPN and they won't let me in front of a camera, because I'll say things that they can and won't say. Yeah. I truly believe that a 29-year-old McGregor who's never been in the professional boxing ring, they get strung up too much and hung up too much that he has never had a professional fight, a boxing match in his life. But Conor makes a valid point in saying, when I'm in an octagon, you've got knees, elbows, you have shins, everything is coming at you. But you're telling me I'm only going to have to get hit with fists and I just have to dodge fists? Come on. It's making it a one-dimensional game there, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. You are actually helping Conor by making it, and a mixed martial artist, even like yourself, you're making it easier. At least I would say that. I don't know what you say to that, but is it easier that it is making it what I see as being a one-dimensional fight come August 26th?
Yeah, I think it's completely easier. You won't have to, look out for a takedown, look out for a kick. You won't have to defend any of those things. So, it's either the right or the left hand that's going to be thrown, and you're always going to be on the radar for that. So it's going to be much easier for that.
So with those poly tapes also comes a lot of other controversy and a lot from the Mayweather camp, though. A lot of controversy from the Mayweather camp in racial bias or racial, I guess, slurs is what Mayweather and his camp are trying to say now, is that Conor McGregor at the London press conference, because I know now what he's talking about. He's okay, and you can help actually clear this up for me. Please help me clear this up, because I don't want it just coming from me. I don't want it coming from me because I live in the States. Okay, you live in Ireland.
Yeah.
You know the term boy does not has no racial attachment to it.
Not at all.
When he said "dance for me, boy," was that what was he talking about? What was he talking about when he says something like that?
Well, I'd have to look back on the moment, but the dance for me, I don't know why he said that, which is completely harmless. But when he said "boy" at the end, that like a lot of people around here say that, so it's absolutely ridiculous.
And if I'm correct in that type of terminology, it's just, basically belittling someone. It has nothing to do racially. It's just the way he used it was he was saying he wanted Floyd Mayweather to dance for him because everybody was screaming "Olé" and singing "Olé" in the audience in Toronto. And he said, "I want you to sing it for me, audience, and I want you to dance for me." And then he says, "Dance for me, boy." And a lot of people think that means that he was calling him boy, as in the States, that's a huge racial tension as far as slavery, civil rights goes. That's a huge tension here. But the thing I think that people don't understand is that has nothing to do with it. If you were to go to Ireland, it has nothing to do with it. It has no attachment. But people would love to make it about that. But I see it like this. If it was what people don't understand, Conor McGregor fought Jose Aldo. Okay, for the undisputed featherweight title just a couple years ago. And if you watch his face before he goes and attacks Jose Aldo in the very first round, he's actually crouching down. And he says, "Come on, boy. Come on, boy." Yeah. He's trying to demean him. He's just trying to get inside his head and think, "You're not as big as I am. You're not as mentally tough as I am." That's all he's saying. And Jose Aldo is not African-American. So it has there's no racial bias to it. But I'm glad we cleared that up. I've been getting a lot of flack for it on social media because I'm white and because I live here in the States where that is taken a certain way where they don't understand what I was saying. So I'm glad you helped me with that one. Two things. One, August 26th, it all goes down. Mayweather McGregor. Who do you have? And I know, and I hate to ask it like that because you are a mixed martial artist. You are training in that profession. So obviously everybody at home watching this will say, well, we know what he's going to say, but here's the thing. Who and why?
Well, when the fight was still first matched up, I actually couldn't pick anyone because Floyd Mayweather, he is 49-0 and he's 49-0 for some reason, and he's proved that every time in the ring. Conor is just an unbelievable fighter everywhere. Boxing, he's learned so much on the ground by Dylan Dennis. He can fight anywhere now. But then when I seen some of Floyd's training clips and how long he can go and, his fitness, and then, Conor's open workout there about 2-3 days ago, he could, he can go to 12 rounds. And people are telling him that he's slow and stuff, but you're not going to, punch the head off each other for like every second of the fight. Like that's just not going to happen. So obviously he's going to move back, take a couple of steps, move, and then take his shots. He's not going to be constantly hitting. But I think if it was 10-ounce gloves, I wouldn't see the fight going past 6 rounds. And so I don't think Floyd can take his power.
In favor of who?
In favor of Conor. Floyd won't be able to take his power. I think he just has too much power. And if it's 8 ounce, I can't see it going past 4 rounds.
Okay, so when Conor said, and this is something I wish, to this day, I wish I would have said on social media before Conor said 4 rounds. I wish I would have said it because I was actually picking my money. If I wanted to double my money on this fight, I actually could have said what I told my best man is I see him getting knocked out in 3. And then Conor about 4 days later comes out and says he's not lasting past 4. So then I look bad because I didn't post it first. But you're saying, so in 10 ounce, you were originally giving him not past 6. So you actually see it possibly even going past that 4 round mark that even Conor thinks.
Yeah.
Okay. But if they get down to 8, you see it not lasting past 4.
It's simply because of the speed of Floyd and his head movement. He is fast with his head movement and on the feet too. So that's the only difference. Okay.
So with a thing like, I'm glad you brought it up though, Ross. I'm glad you brought it up that you said that it's not going to be haymaker punches for 4 straight rounds. It's, from bell to bell. That's not how it works. Yeah. There is movement around. And I think that is the biggest thing a lot of ESPN analysts need to remember and journalists need to remember. It's not going to be a toe-to-toe battle for 4 straight rounds. It's going to be, I'm going to knock you around a little bit, step back, catch my breath, knock you around a little bit, step back, catch my breath. And that guy, like you said, Conor, this is his first boxing match professionally.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to, and this is something I was kind of worried about, to be honest with you, I don't know what you think about this, but I was having a little thought about how Conor might try to extend the rounds in order to make it more of a fight because the tickets aren't selling very well, as everybody knows. And that's one thing I didn't like, actually. But then I found out how much the cheaper tickets are selling for right now. And it would be for it'd make anybody's eyes roll back. $3,000 or $3,500 or something crazy like that for cheap tickets. Man. So ringside have got to be about $45,000 or $50,000, which is insanely priced. But I do also think if it doesn't get helped or if that doesn't remedy itself, that I think that T-Mobile Arena, where they're fighting.
Yeah.
I think they're going to lower the price. I think they'll lower the prices about a week before the fight because I don't see it going any past this next week. If the seats aren't sold out, they will lower the prices. And I see Conor, and I still stick with it though. Conor in 3. I still stick with it because as I've watched Conor from Marcus Brimage all the way up through. Now I had to go back and watch tapes on him over in Ireland. I wasn't able to see those fights, but I was able to see his fights from Marcus Brimage on. Oops, knocked the mic out. I think his power, like you said, his power is too much. I think he figures him out in the first 2 rounds only because 2 rounds in boxing with not constant movement, constant worrying about, like you said, kicks and elbows and everything else in between, that's 6 minutes. That's just over a full round of mixed martial arts with less happening to you. So I think he figures him out within the first 2 rounds and really puts that pressure on and puts him away in the third. Whether or not they let the bell save, and I'm not sure how it works, I'd have to look up the boxing rules on that, but whether or not the bell saves an opponent in boxing, if he knocks him down within the final 10 seconds, I don't know if that does it or not. I don't know if the bell can save him in this fight, and I'm hoping it doesn't. I'm hoping he gets knocked out in the last minute of the fight or the third round and stays down. For that fight, why or do you see – I'm sorry, no, sorry, that's the last question. Do you see this going into a thing where Conor McGregor actually takes fights afterward in boxing, or do you see him going back to UFC? And he has said he will fight back in the UFC, but a man who's about to make north of $100 million in one fight, regardless of taxes at the end and anything else, I mean, someone has to realize no matter what kind of combat sport you're in, if you've been fighting a fight for $3 to $5 million a fight, maybe, and now you're making north of $100 million in one fight, and the next fight is if Conor McGregor beats Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez said, I want to fight him. I would love to fight him on the contingency that he beats Floyd. And if he beats Floyd, I would hate to say it, but Conor McGregor may end up being the A side in that second fight. In a Canelo Alvarez. No. If Canelo Alvarez said, I would fight him if he beats Floyd, and if Conor beats Floyd on August 26th, would you see Conor being a possible A side, or do you think he's still the B side in a Canelo Alvarez match?
I think he'd be the A side. He's dominating the UFC. He is a 2-way champ, but he never lost the featherweight title, but they did have to vacate it. He's still the lightweight champion. So he dominated 2 weight classes. Let's not forget, he went up to welterweight, lost his first fight against Diaz, but came back, won Diaz in the second fight. But to do with the power in that second fight, Diaz is, he's a big bloke, like, he's huge. But, Conor knocked him down 2-3 times in one round. So, without a doubt, he'd be able to knock down Floyd. But to be back to your original question, I think Conor would be the A side against Canelo, because if he beats Floyd, then, boxing's going to be talking about him for quite a while.
And here's the thing, and this is something that has been talked about for a long time now in your sport of mixed martial arts, in your combat sport of mixed martial arts. You've seen greats come and go. Obviously, you're younger, so I mean your time span of what you have been able to see, although you were born into an age of technology where you can watch YouTube videos and see everything. I was not. I am adjusting as we go. But one of my favorite fighters of all time is the great Spider Anderson Silva. One of my favorites, and with people talking about him, regardless of what happened with him and Chris Weidman in the few fights that he had. Do you think that Conor will be revered in boxing the same way as Silva is regarded in MMA? Even though it's his first professional boxing match, and if he does beat him, he is beating the all-time tied undefeated boxer of all time.
I think he'd need at least one fight to prove that, he's the real deal. And then, a high name, like if he fought Pacquiao, Canelo, whoever, then it would prove that he could be the Anderson Silva of boxing.
And do you think that this fight, and now we've gotten for a lot of people, this is the last question here. Do you think this fight will ruin the sport of boxing in any way? And by ruin, I don't mean it's disgracing boxing, but do you think it'll ruin the image of boxing over an MMA fighter coming in and possibly knocking out the best defensive boxer of all time?
No, it wouldn't ruin MMA or boxing. They're both fighters. Both sports is in the fight game. Why can't one style fight another. It's the exact same in MMA. A black belt jiu-jitsu could be fighting a boxer, but the jiu-jitsu guy could still win. This is going into boxing, one sport, two different type of fighters. It wouldn't ruin any organization or sport in this fight.
Good, and I'm glad you think that way because I'm right on the same bus with you on that one. So I just wanted to thank you. If anybody wanted to reach you, and if I wasn't very specific, where can people find you on social media if they want to get a hold of you?
They can find me on Twitter at Ross Edmonds, Ross with 3 S's and Edmonds. I
appreciate it, Ross. This has been Ross Edmonds, amateur mixed martial artist training out of Warrior MMA and K1 gym in Dublin, Ireland. We are just a couple weeks away. What is it, the 13th today for you?
Yeah.
So we are just about 2 weeks away, just under 2 weeks away from the biggest combat sports fight, almost the biggest fight of all time, as far as I can tell. The way that the hype has been, the way that Conor is assured of himself, the way that Floyd thinks that he's going to, rule boxing from here on out, regardless of whether Conor can strike harder or faster. It's all up to you guys. Get there. The T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. That is August 26, 2017 on pay-per-view, Showtime pay-per-view. Guys, I've been Pat Voss. Thank you so much for watching another JCT official podcast interview. And thank you to Ross Edmonds for stopping by today. We will see you guys on later. Thank you, Ross.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
Just a rebel on your own, on a bed to a bed to a bed to a trip, on a bed to a bed to a bed to a trip, on a bed to a